Welcome back to our series on business plans for musicians and artists. I'm Dr. Maya, and this is part 3, where we are going to focus on the Your Market section of your business plan. This sometimes is also combined with the section called Fan Base, and there's nuances between the two of those that we explore a little further in part 5 of this series. So today, let's dive in with Your Market and think a little bit more deeply about the people that we are trying to reach. So this is just kind of going forward in your business plan. Now you've set up your executive summary, you've set up your vision, you've talked a little bit about what you have in mind project-wise, and teased into the investment or the partnership that you might be asking for. As you proceed into the Your Market section, you start to uncover the possible success of what you're trying to do, because what you're doing is saying, here are the people that we're going to actually be able to sell this to or share this with. So you're thinking about your imaginary fan that you thought about during your branding, hopefully. We have a separate video about that where you go a little bit more deeply into that individual person that's listening to your music, that's appreciating your art, and think about demographics and psychographics, geographics about those people. Now, what we do with Your Market is we take that individual thinking and we apply that to more of a population-based set of imaginings, right? Or set of investigations. So now we get into the numbers about that. Your next section for this business plan, it's Your Market, and it's really opening up the eyes of the investor to how big this might be able to get. So it's important because you want to give them an idea of the possibilities, how much they really could get in a return on their investment. And remember, it's a business plan, so don't be afraid to think about it in terms of profit. This is where we're going with this, is really thinking about how many people of this type exist in these places that might want to purchase my music in some way. So tickets to my shows, my merchandise, my, stream my songs, whatever that might be. So as we talk a little further into this, you're going to get an idea of what to look up and what to share about your market. And that becomes your market details. So in this particular presentation, your business plan presentation, you might want to bring in that exercise that you've done for your marketing side, for your branding side, and think about that imaginary fan and maybe just introduce them. Introduce that person that you uncovered that's really your ultimate super fan. Then you're going to want to go into geographics, demographics, behaviors, and places where you might find these people. Let's get started with thinking a little bit more deeply about the imaginary fan, and we're going to just briefly go over this in this video, and we have some more deep trainings about that available in terms of identifying your ideal target, your ideal audience member. And so, just like your imaginary friend, this is why I call it the imaginary fan, they should have some characteristics. They should have a personality. They should have likes and dislikes. They should have a life. Really imagine this person holistically, not just, race and gender and age, maybe location. The old abbreviation on the internet used to be ASL, age, sex, location. So I think that was a little too young when that was happening a lot, but it was the old AOL chat room thing where people were trying to find out who each other was, right? So we want to go beyond that, just, your gender, your age, where you're at, maybe your race or something like that, and go beyond that into the personality and what this person really does with their life. That's going to allow you to really target your content. It's going to allow you to target your advertising and really understand who you're trying to hit with this business plan. And in turn, your potential investor, partner, or sponsor will be able to see, and visualize who you're trying to hit and see if that aligns with what they're trying to do. So that's a really important piece of it, is sharing that imaginary fan and really trying to get a grip on that individual person. Now, after this, we try to dive a little more deeply. Once we understand who this imaginary fan is, we think about, well, where they are. So where do they live? Where do they work? Where do they like to travel? Where do they hang out online? This is going to also help you in the future to come up with your distribution plans, your marketing plans, tour routes, tour schedules and things like that. You want to really understand where you can find these people. The next part that we want to go into is demographics. And I just said, we want to go a little bit beyond that, think about their whole life, their personality, where they hang out, because not necessarily everyone with the same demographics obviously are going to have the same taste in art and music. So, you know, as musicians, as creative people, we understand this, but in order to encapsulate this in a business plan, this is one of the slides you're going to want to think through. So what kind of characteristics do they have? You know, and that can include age, it can include gender, race. Are they urban? Are they suburban? Are they rural? What type of educational background might they have? What type of income level might they have? We're thinking about this in terms of, you know, what census data can get you. In sociology, we use data from the national census and make all kinds of maps through geospatial mapping, and really thinking about that information overlaying with the geographics so that you're getting this more full picture of the type of person that you're really going after. So it's a little uncomfortable, but generalizing is necessary here. You know, if you're doing a marketing campaign or a business plan, you know, it's difficult to win with the proposition that, you know, what I'm doing is for everybody. When I'm presenting, you know, whether that's my art, my music, my business ideas, whatever that is, you know, in any industry, across anything that we're all doing, hitting everybody for every, you know, solution is not the best actual planning and targeting that you need to do. That's not to say that you can't have more than one audience, and we can get into that more when we get more deeply into marketing in some of our other educational videos, but you have to kind of generalize here and make this target your one target that you're sort of sharing about, that this is this type of person. Now, again, it doesn't have to only be demographics. You know, it's going to be a blend of things. You know, your audience is not necessarily only one race or only one gender or things like that. But who is your ideal audience, the ideal fan who's going to be supporting you on Patreon, who's going to be contributing to your career and sharing you with all of their friends? Once we get past demographics, we start to think a little bit more holistically about that person, and we go into behaviors. So what are behaviors? It's a lot of it is what we track online actually nowadays. What are they up to? What do they want? Are they really likely to take your desired action? And one of the things this brings up for me is just the incredible, I guess you could call, surveillance of what we do, especially through a network like Facebook. And Instagram is part of that. So what we're doing, what we're posting on Facebook, where we are geographically, when we're posting, who we're connected to, what we're saying, what we're watching, what we're clicking on, is all completely fair game and open to advertisers to use to target you. And we all know this because we see advertising that really relates to, you know, a certain thing that we've been interested in. And this is based on this behavioral targeting. And what that can do on the good side for an artist or a musician is that it can allow you to, you know, maybe boost posts to these people that you are thinking of, this ideal audience, your imaginary fan. It allows you to find your imaginary fan and speak to them and show them your art, to share with them your new songs, to invite them to your next live performance or show. So, you know, it's a little Big Brother-ish. It does bring up a little bit of little anxiety for me, actually. I kind of feel like, wow, there's so much information out there, but we willingly use these services. When we click accept for those terms and conditions, that's what we're all agreeing to. And, you know, on the business side, it gets taken advantage of in this way. So behaviors, I mean, it really tracks. Have you purchased tickets in the past? Have you purchased tickets to this particular festival in the past? Are you likely to purchase tickets at this certain time of year? In the springtime, you purchase, 3 or 4 concert tickets every year for summertime shows. Those types of actions will really add up to these predictive behaviors, and then you can help to serve ads based on that. And so, kind of in terms of just identifying our audience, we want to know what they're doing, what they're up to. It's going to also help our potential investor or sponsor understand if that's the same audience they would like to reach. And that's really important because it's really through you and through your art that they're trying to connect with a person, a fan. And so we don't want to leave these people out of it. We actually want to focus on them a lot in terms of, why are we doing this? Who are we doing this for? So once we get by the behaviors section of this, we think about geography, we think about places, but it's not just kind of that place of, okay, I live in Cincinnati, right? It's where do I actually hang out? Where am I online? Am I using OkCupid? Am I using Tinder? Am I on Match.com, right? Or Christian Mingles, right? Which kind of personality am I fitting into as a fan? And as this business planning artist, this business planning musician, you want to think about that. Where are these people? Because that's where you are going to connect with them and serve your art and serve your message. So think about places as well as geography. They're kind of two separate sides of that coin. Who are they? Where do they live? Where do they hang out? So this is what you'll want to focus on for your market. You're going to want to go out there and get lots of data so that you have numbers in this section. You want to go and look at US Census data. For those of you who are in college, you can also go into your college library when you do have access through university accounts. You can oftentimes access different sets of data for free than the general public can. So that's just a tip for you guys out there. If you're in college right now, use that as a resource and use this for your own development and your own knowledge in building your business plan. So don't forget the numbers. You want to talk about this subjectively, but also objectively. You want to show, there are 25,000 people in my suburb that meet these criteria, or there's 2,500,000 people in my state that meet these criteria. And, I would anticipate that my music would appeal to 20% of them. And here's the number that we're going to come up with to show you that your investment or your sponsorship or your partnership is going to be a good return on investment for you. That's what you have to say about your market. Join us for the next video in part 4. We're going to continue with the artist business plan. It should be the next in the playlist if you're watching on YouTube, or make sure you watch the next episode. Thank you for joining us.